So in 2020, when everyone else was bored, a lot of people were staying at home. I said, absolutely not. I've got to do something. So I'm the private investigator from Fort Worth that filed a presidential pardon request for Joe Exotic from the Tiger King.
So how does that why? Just let's do that. Why?
Okay. So why not?
Oh,
Right. Why
okay,
not?
cool. Next question.
Yeah. So, here's the way I look at it. Why not? If you have the means and the skill set, I
Mhm.
had the means to do this. I had the skill set to do it. And I think probably one of the most important things that I brought to the table, I can rally a crowd real quick. And what I mean by that is on a professional, like let's say a checkbox, I do good work.
Mhm.
I associate with good people, and I make sure that, the best of my ability is put forth, and that typically garners some really successful results.
What the hell's going on out here?
Cool.
Yeah.
We've already got a conversation going. So,
right.
Once again, everybody, welcome to Fueled by Spite. I have with me, I would say a friend. I mean, hell, we're going to be fast friends. We're real. We're feeling it already.
Friends.
I haven't seen you for about 3 or 4 years now.
Yep.
Eric Love. We met feeding the homeless down off of Lancaster through a mutual friend of ours, Rosacco, Soul Food and Barbecue. And you guys might remember him from something a little more. Why do people know you?
Well, so most people know me, especially in the mid-cities, Tarrant County. I drive a couple of Cadillacs that are pretty crazy. And I have an English bulldog that is absolutely, when I say it changed my life, I'll be glad to explain that at some point. But I'm a private investigator, and I do really fun stuff, but I also do some real horrible, serious stuff, right?
Fair.
So in 2020, when everyone else was bored, a lot of people were staying at home. I said, absolutely not. I've got to do something. So I'm the private investigator from Fort Worth that filed a presidential pardon request for Joe Exotic from the Tiger King.
So how does that why? Just let's do that. Why?
Okay. So why not? Right. Why
okay,
not?
Cool. Next question.
Yeah. So, here's the way I look at it. Why not? If you have the means and the skill set, I had the means to do this. I had the skill set to do it. And I think probably one of the most important things that I brought to the table, I can rally a crowd real quick. And what I mean by that is on a professional, like let's say a checkbox, I do good work. I associate with good people, and I make sure that, the best of my ability is put forth, and that typically garners some really successful results.
Right.
Okay. So when you have a good track record, you can garner some very talented people. And at the end of the day, it was expensive. We spent a lot of money, but we spent our own money doing it. I mean, we did everything from do a TMZ release.
Yeah, because I remember the TMZ. I saw, if I remember right, there's a limo sitting on the side of jail. There's either an airplane or a helicopter involved.
So I'm a shtick guy, okay? So I've got a lot of really rich friends. And what's funny about that is I've always had these friends, and they give me their resources. There's a country song about big and rich, living big time, and in there it says I use their airplanes. That's kind of what I did, But we use a lot of different assets. I have a lot of friends that have different businesses. They were bored in the pandemic too. And I said, hey, look, we're going to wrap a double-decker bus, and we're going to drive to DC, and we're going to troll President Trump. And the guy that owns the sign shop said, can I go? I said, well, you got to wrap the bus.
Right.
He's like, done.
Yeah, right. Deal.
So we had a great time. Wrapped a plane, helicopters. We did a lot of fun stuff on that project. But if you have the means and the skill set, and if you have the time, why not do it?
Yeah, and
I was not bored in 2020.
We had time.
I was not bored in 2020.
So how did you acquire the means? Give me your 2-minute origin story. Like, you don't just wake up one day and have wealthy friends and a bunch of free time.
Nope. And I always say a lot of men garner their relationships. Well, I did good for this week, so I should be good. That's not the way to do it. It's, I'm a relationship guy on the long play for life. Okay. And I'll tell you, if you got any friends that don't bring anything to the table but take from you, get rid of them right now. Save yourself some time.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. So I was a patrol sergeant with the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Worked there, worked off duty like any other law enforcement guy just about does. And I started working off duty for one particular person. And I took a real liking to them because they paid me more than anyone else.
This is like 1099 independent contract kind of stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So she's a cop in California. She called one night and she's going to pay me really about 30% more than most off-duty jobs. And it started the next morning. And I'm like, man, this is kind of fishy. I said, well, okay, I'm going to do this job for you. And, I told her, I said, here's the deal. You don't pay me, I'm going to fly to California and kill you. And, the person had a funny sense of humor on the other end of the phone. And she's like, you're my guy.
Right.
Fast forward. I leave the sheriff's department with 17 years of service, cash out. I bet on myself.
Nice.
Okay. I literally, and when people say, oh, yeah, it was so stupid. I had a couple of people that were like that, like retractors, if you will.
Yeah.
And as life has fast forwarded up to 2021, I was able to help their GoFundMe substantially.
Perfect.
For personal family problems. And there's nothing better than to still help the people that you loved. Sometimes you got to love people at a distance. That's okay too. It's really, really important. So we started a private security company firm. I handle all the dignitary protection, high-end type details, high-end clients, if you will. And we sold in 2019. The owner was more than gracious to me and blessed me financially.
The woman that called you to sell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we sold to the biggest in the industry, and you know what that means. That's good money for somebody.
Yeah, right.
I literally am a guy that got lucky in life. And what I mean by that is I barely graduated Trinity High School in 1985.
Oh, you're local.
Yeah. I was born in Euless.
Yeah. Okay.
I ended up working at the sheriff's department for 17 years. And I was always in I don't want to say the right place at the right time but I was. It is what it is.
Yeah.
People took a liking to my personality. And I think people watch if you give. And I think people watch people watch you, how you conduct yourself. And it benefited me. And at the end of the day, I've had a life that I could not. I can pick my phone up and text Warren Buffett. I can call Warren Buffett if I want to. But the cool thing is, like Harvey Levin at TMZ has become such a great friend over the years.
No way.
I can just text him and boom. And there's some other folks, a lot of music artists. You become that relationship, and on the long play in life, it doesn't do anything but benefit you.
It's interesting. Originally, I would have said I'm in a transition in my life right now. I was actually just at a seminar this last weekend. A bunch of high-ranking professionals, for lack of a better word, just people also trying to make their lives just a little bit better than it was before. And I'd said that to the group. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a transition. I'm because I've got the office here. I'm going to be bringing on an associate. I want to expand this thing. And literally, one of the women leading the group goes, "Well, we're always in transition. Everybody is. That's not special. That's not unique. That's not different. Sounds like what you're trying to do is you're trying to expand." It's like, oh, okay. A little bit of a different way to kind of look at things as far as just because transition always implies, maybe not always, but implies to me that you have to let something go. You have to leave something behind. You might have to forget about it. So when you say, we need to transition away, or you had to leave some friends behind, you came into means. They became of need, and it doesn't sound like you actually left them behind.
So I'll tell you this. I actually know someone that won the lottery. Okay?
No way.
This is something that I really enjoyed, the story he told me. He called a couple of people in his family. He had a pretty small circle to begin with. And he asked for $500. He didn't tell him he won. He was, about shit his pants. He realized, holy crap, it's over $100 million.
Whew.
And he said, me and him had talked about some stuff, over the tenure of our relationship, 20 years. And one of the things was, there's nothing better than a loyal person. Animals, I'm a dog guy. I got an English bulldog.
Yep.
Man, let me tell you something. He's loyal. I have a wife. I try to be as loyal to her as she is to me, and she is a wonderful woman. there's a lot to be said for loyalty. He said, I picked up the phone and I called a couple of my cousins asking for $500. I told them I would have it to him in about a week. Nobody gave him $500, but you know who did? One of his good friends. And you know what? You know what he ended up giving that good friend? A nice check.
A nice check.
Yeah. And it was all about loyalty.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. A lot of people, I've seen kind of a disconnect, especially over the last 15 years, where, you know, loyalty is only what's shiny in the moment.
Yep.
That's not how it works. Not how it works.
I mean, it was really interesting. So you said 15 years. I've been down here in Texas about 10. I come from Minnesota originally. I was when we first met, I was actually working with another chiropractor. And he and the landlord of the place that we were at, they've been going on for ballpark, I want to say like 12 years off of a handshake.
That still happens.
It does. And it was awesome. Like,
yeah.
And it got to the point where like he was going to retire, and understandably so. I was maybe wishing for a little bit more than, you know, what I had earned. But, hey, Mr. Landlord, I'm just going to shake your hand too. We're just going to keep this thing going. He goes, I don't know you.
Yeah, you didn't have a relationship.
Nope, he sure didn't. Didn't have one. I thought I could just walk right into it. But that is one thing that has become increasingly apparent to me in the past, I would say in the past 2 years. Again, been in business for 10, but in the past 2, the relationship aspect, it's almost, you feel bad. Maybe you don't. I feel bad for myself I don't want to say it was 8 years wasted, but it was 8 years learning.
It's never wasted.
It is, yeah, true. It is never wasted, but I could have definitely sped up the learning curve.
Sure.
If it was more relationship based.
I think the most important thing anyone can learn. So my daughter thinks this is funny, Gabby. Okay. So she moves back after getting her master's in Louisiana. And she said, I need to take my dog to a vet. But I can't, you know, I've called 3, I can't get in. I said, call this number, ask for this person. Just tell them that you're Big Juicy's daughter. Now, Big Juicy's my dog, right?
Yep.
But I let him, I buy him everything. Okay. I love this dog so much. It brought a whole different person out of me once I became one with this dog. Okay. A lot of things in life will make you better. 8 years will make you better. I'm just telling you, it will make you execute better in business. It makes you realize you don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't really want to do that. I said, well, knock yourself out. You called me. I didn't call you. Goodbye. And my kids think that's funny because I treat them, I love them to death. I do anything for them, but also treat it almost like business. And what I mean by that is the world is pretty cruel. You go out here, these people over here don't give 2 shits about you.
Nope.
But you've got to make yourself important. You've got to find your skill set, and you got to bring your own relationship. Well, after she waited a couple of days and kept calling other animal clinics, she ended up calling and she said, Dad, I was so embarrassed. But I said, is Tia there? Yeah, hold on a minute. Tia gets on the phone. She said, please forgive me, but I'm Big Juicy's daughter. She said, oh, which one? Because they keep up with everybody on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she said, I'm Gabby, the one that plays volleyball. Tia then says, oh, the Vanilla Killer. That's what I call her. I got a tattoo, the Vanilla Killer. Paying tribute to my kid, right?
That's fantastic.
Well, now Gabby has about a 3-year relationship. She won't go anywhere else.
Perfect.
And it literally, I tell people all the time, why would you go and buy a car here and not, if you know your friend Joe works over here, go give Joe the business.
Right?
That's how it works. Go give, if your friends have a business, and I hate when people say, hey, do I get a discount? No, you dumb dick. You get nothing. You get what's on the menu.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a trade-off, right? I'm going to patronize my friend. Now, my friends have shitty food. I'm not going there. But we have a common friend that has great food.
He does.
So that's no problem. But I've also been the person that they'll say, give me your honest opinion. It's no problem. I'll take a bite. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll take a bite. That is hammered, and that's not good.
Nope. That's why, speaking of the kids' tattoos. So I got a son, Calvin, named after Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
So again, he rides with me everywhere. This right here is actually the time my daughter was born. Just keep it nice and close to me. So she's my firstborn.
Yeah.
Calvin, that kid's a no limit soldier.
So, you know, when I grew up, my dad So I don't really drink alcohol. Maybe once or twice a year, I'll have a shot with my kids or something. I'm just never have drank. So I've saved a lot of money in life too.
Fair.
And I don't care if anybody else drinks. I just don't drink. Hadn't acquired it. Now, if it tasted like this, I'm drinking Pepsi today, but Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Coke, I like sodas. And I think it's really, really funny how I was against, I don't want my kids to have any tattoos. I don't want anybody to. So at 47, I done lost my damn mind. So I had my bulldog.
Nice.
So I got him on here. And my wife, I'd come back from a trip. His name's Big Juicy. So I had it just put on him. So by the way, my wife said, man, you must really like Dr. Taylor. You put sleeves on because, you normally, if you see me, if I'm not working, I wear cut off sleeve. Yeah. I say, yeah, this is important today.
Right, there it is.
But I just think about how a person evolves. Obviously, if you grow as a human, you evolve. Your thinking changes over time. Not on moral compass or family value things.
Yep.
No, that doesn't change. And things that are instilled in you. But other life things change.
Yeah.
I've got 19 tattoos now.
Right?
I'm going to get another one.
Like when I was growing up, my dad's thing was like, you get a tattoo, that means you have too much money.
Uh-oh.
So then you're cut off.
Yeah.
And so it was like I stayed on there as long as I could. And then like when I got a tattoo on the calf, and sure as shit, all of a sudden, poof, guess who's paying for their own cell phone bill now? This guy.
But you know what's good? So I have a lot of young guys. My wife, everybody thinks because my last name is Love that I have some great insight on stuff. Well, I don't. I'm full of crap. Okay. But my phone rings all the time for relationship advice, like all the time. And, sometimes I'll tell these guys, I don't want to get off topic of whatever we're talking about, but I'll tell these guys at the end of the day, I would rather work 3 jobs, have no money, but have peace. Some people, I've been divorced before. You know why I did it? I didn't like it no more.
Fair.
That's it. I mean,
that's a good reason.
That's it. I said, don't waste your life. Learn how to make a decision, execute. Make a decision, execute.
Yep.
And you got to live by that decision. Don't be the guy that, I don't know why I did that. Nobody wants to hear that. And let me ask you a question. When somebody says, hey, how are you doing today? How do you answer that?
So I'm doing great.
Thank you. I don't like a health report.
Oh, shit.
The other day says, Big Juicy, how you doing? I said, wonderful. How are you doing? They start telling me about their arthritis, their marriage. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yep.
Just say I'm wonderful and keep going.
Guts flaring up.
Yeah, something.
Yep. You're not wrong. I mean, I say that kind of tongue in cheek because obviously, on the other side of the camera in healthcare. So there is like, I do get that from people. Yeah. Outside, like you run someone at, the local soul food and barbecue restaurant. Yep. Someone's sitting at a table. How you doing? And there's everyone's
my sciatic nerve's killing me, doctor.
Right?
I need you to roll me over.
We can do that right here on the bench.
Yeah.
But even going back a little bit more, so you don't want to get off topic. Like this is all on topic. We talk about fueled by spite. We were talking, I think before the camera was going, I've never been one of those guys that's like, I want to be better than I was yesterday. Because in my mind, that's not motivating. It's a win-win. Because either if I'm better than I was yesterday, cool, I'm better, I won. If I'm not, well, cool, that means I still won yesterday. I'm still me, so I still won. So, I mean, I take my motivation from others. I absolutely do. I want to find someone who's doing better than me, and I want to beat that person. But the thing is, a lot of times, if they're doing better than me, I'm going to go ask them for directions. You find the people who are in the places that you want to be and ask them how they got there. I'm not just going to sit there silently. Like, I mean, in some cases, well, silently try and overcome what they've accomplished. But no, if I want to get there quicker, establish a relationship with them, figure out what they did, and then just try and do that.
And I would tell people, especially, men and women, but especially men, I would tell them this: find a couple of people that you identify with, positive characteristics and the way they conduct themselves personally and in business. So I took a little piece of a lot of different people that I observed over life.
Oh yeah.
And it can really make you a great, what I didn't want to be? I didn't want to be a guy that's 56, my age now, sitting at home waiting for the mail to come. I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to have some excitement.
Yeah.
I wanted to have what's going to happen next. I always liked that.
Yeah.
And, if you make that realization early enough in life and you identify and kind of emulate the positive things of other people, and then look at the negative things they do too. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I mean, that was one of the best things about being a police officer. You would answer a call and you'd literally scratch your head and say, how do you get that crapped up? Like, I'm never going to do that. I just saw the outcome of that. Right. And, I would tell especially younger people that a lot. Find something that you love to do, and that's, I almost hate the saying, find something you love to do and it'll never be like working. Well, find something you're passionate about. So I'm a passionate person.
Mm-hmm.
If I like something, boy, I'm in. I'm in with my wallet, my hands, I'm in. Find something you can be passionate about. My dog is the one that actually really, between my dog and my wife, that's what really kicked when those two came into play.
How?
So there was a guy that cleaned my office. I was working 12 and 14-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we were building the company. We were building. And a guy that came in wanted to, his bucket list item. I always used to ask him, what's a bucket list item today? One day he said, I'd love to meet Jay-Z. I said, okay. Do you have a suit? He said, yeah. He knew what we did. I mean, he saw all the pictures in the office. It was fun business.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to get to meet him. Him and his wife came to the AAC and performed, I don't know, a couple years ago. And I said,
him and his wife, what's her name?
Yeah. So I told him, I said, here's the deal. I know his agent pretty well. I'm going to put you in a suit. You're going to be in the mix. I'll make sure you get your picture. He's like, shut up.
That's awesome.
So helping people. Now that's not helping someone professionally, but you know what it's helping them?
Absolutely.
Right here. When you can help other people, I don't care if somebody's short, take it.
Yeah.
My checks on my personal check. Do you still write checks?
Yeah.
Okay, I do too. On my personal check, it says it's just money. I'll make more.
That's awesome.
I've had that on there before I ever had any money. I don't have that much now, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I think that you can grow into something if you set it out there. You can grow into your own success, and I think do stuff for others. But like this guy, wonderful guy, said, "Yeah, I see you have a picture of your wife's dog. Yeah, it's his little Shih Tzu, great little dog." And I really started liking dogs at this point because he was a pretty cool little dog. And he said, if you could have one, what would it be? I said, boy, I like the English Bulldog. I think they're cool looking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to be doing too much. And they don't do too much.
Fair enough.
Trust me.
Yeah.
And long story short, he said, I'm going to give you one. So, it's just conversation. And he said, I'm one of the top breeders in DFW. I said, wait a minute.
Oh, damn.
Why are you cleaning my office then if you're a top breeder?
Fair question.
He said, have you ever been
divorced?
divorced?
I'm a shit salesman.
Yeah. Have you ever been divorced? I said, well, touche. So
once again, shit salesman.
Yeah. So he ends up bringing, he had bred a dog for a guy and they were moving into an apartment. The the pet fee was like $2,500 because they do the fecal. It's very expensive high rise. Couldn't afford it. He brings it in. He says, hey, I want to take a look at this dog. And my wife laughs because I always describe it the same way. This dog come around the corner and I have a pretty large office, comes around the corner and I could hear the, what is that? Whitney Houston. And I fell in love with him.
Yeah.
I said, dude, I'll write you a check for this guy right now. And he was just all over me. He said, are you serious? You want him? I said, I want him. That's the chosen one right here. There was something about this dog. Now, when you come home late from work, guess who's happy to see you? Well,
the dog.
My dog and my wife.
There we go.
Right? When you've had maybe a day that wasn't as productive as you thought it was going to be, who's glad to see you? Mr. Dependable.
Yep.
And so, over the years, I've spent a ridiculous amount of money, but I've put him on billboards. I've put him on bumper stickers. I've had these coins made. And it's funny because when people say that's so stupid, they'll never forget. One of the funniest things when I take people to lunch, if I go eat lunch with anybody, I never let anybody pay. That's kind of my thing. But there's nothing funnier. After you pay, they always say, oh man, thank you very much. I say, don't thank me. Have you ever had a dog buy your lunch?
Can't say that I have.
Shut up. So then I'll give them the receipt and they talk about it forever.
Yep.
And it's funny.
The mastermind I was just at, I almost said little mastermind. It wasn't little, it was fantastic. But one of the things the guy said, he's got his 5 daily disciplines. He does these 5 things every single day. And one of them is he laid out his timeline, not timeline, but the time he's going to spend with members of his family, his wife, his 3 daughters, and his mom.
This sounds terrible already, but keep going.
Right.
Keep going.
But what he would do is he says, every time I tell this to people, I always get shit for the amount of time. He goes, I spend 30 minutes with my wife every day. I spend, 5 minutes with my daughters. I asked for 15. They gave me 5. His daughters were teenagers. And I spend at least 1 minute with my mom, just calling her up. And everyone's like, even from the daughter standpoint, 5 minutes a day with your kids. He goes, 5 minutes a day, every single day of quality time is better than 2 hours forced on a Saturday.
This is something that I just recently had the conversation. Okay. People say, my son won't do this or my daughter won't do this. Well, how did you do it? Ask my kids. I made everything fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Anybody want to go to an ass whipping? 0. No, nobody wants to do that.
Right.
But you know what? Hey, we're going to go to the grocery store. That's quality time.
Yep.
Especially if you got your kids. Hey, their mother wouldn't let them get anything. You know, we're divorced.
Mm-hmm.
You go with dad, get whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah. Make sure you eat it. Don't waste it.
Uh-huh.
We ain't buying that again. Right. That's how it works. I think that a lot of time, like that would never work for me. I'm going to spend 30 minutes with my wife. I'd rather have a tooth pulled. Okay. than have to follow a schedule.
Uh-huh.
I think that the discipline comes, like I'm all over the map anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And my discipline comes from who I love. Make sure I make contact with them.
Yeah.
I do. And sometimes I like organic stuff. I mean, you very well could say, hey man, are you busy tonight? I'm kind of thinking about going to eat in the stockyards. Well, let's go. And I'll check and see if, in the moment, this sounds better than whatever else I have going.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if I have something else planned, I'll look. I'm a little bit disciplined in my phone. I can look and see if I got anything. And I know if I've got something going. I like organic fun versus, okay, I've got to go over here and I've got to be fun for 10 minutes or enjoy some quality time. I can't do it. Like, I'm just not that disciplined to do it like that. I respect people if it works for them. And who cares if it works for me or them, as long as it works for the person. That's all that matters.
Right.
I mean, that's all that matters.
As long as it's, you got to spend, and the thing is, it takes time. It takes time to figure out what it is that works for you. Because just give me a rough estimate on this answer. How many times have you fucked up?
Uncountable.
Right? Rough estimate. It takes time. Those are all lessons to figure out, like, you know what? Hey, I'm not going to set aside from 8 to 8:30. This is wife time. No, that ain't going to work for me. But odds are you probably tried something similar to that to find out, hey, this ain't going to work for me.
Yeah. But some guys need that kind of and who cares if it works for you? Great.
Exactly.
That would never work for me. Only because, I'm kind of, I like doing stuff on the fly.
Yep.
For me, I see people that plan stuff, just me. I'll see some folks that will plan something and it's an ass whipping for them to get from point A to point B. Everybody arguing, fighting. Well, if it's kind of, hey, I think I'm going to go do this. Hey, do you want to go? Yeah. Well, now it's going to be fun because we're going to make it. That's just, I'm not a big planner. I don't plan stuff.
Man, like I said, it's what works for you. And full circle moment, right back to this. Like, I want to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Man, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I want what they have. I'm going to do what they did to get what they got. Cool. That's what works for me. Keeping score works for me.
I want to tell you something. I know a person that owns a lot, big boy, big guy. Okay. Advertises on just about every station, sells cars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there the other day buying my dad a car. Okay. I buy him one every couple of years.
Yep.
I watched a guy take 5 credit cards out and he paid for a car. Okay.
Okay.
What's bad about this is I know the person. What's bad about this is that person struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And what's bad about that is he's just trying to keep up with, the new girlfriend. She thought he would really look good in this car. And I'll tell you, I drive a truck with almost 300,000 miles on it. My wife bought it brand new.
Yep.
Now, I don't mind buying other cars, but not me. I want an old car. I want someplace if I open the door and crap it up, who cares?
Yep.
I'm going to be able to drive it wherever I'm going. I have a couple old Cadillacs that I love.
Mm-hmm.
I take much better care of, that. keep them in a garage or whatever, but not the truck. I don't care if a bomb goes off out there, as long as the door still closes
right?
and it starts, I'm good. So many people literally short themselves from day one at being 18 years of age going forward, trying to be the next big thing. Don't do that. Save the money.
Yeah.
Save the money. You don't have to have it. And credit. Why do they do not teach in 1 hour, 30 minutes? A course on credit could be taught in high school. And if a parent is good, they will put their kids on their credit cards when they're 12 years old. When they graduate high school, when all their friends are starting out with a 300 credit score, entry level, they've got 800. 780, 800. To this day, I scratch my head about why people don't teach credit. You know why? There's more money in bad credit.
There is.
That's why.
So, speaking of shtick, every interview has a shtick. We're going to do a little rapid fire. Okay? So, all the stuff you got going on, who's the person that you would trade places with for a day?
I'd probably trade places with my wife just to see what it looks like from the other side.
That's a fantastic answer.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. I would. I'd probably change.
That's a fantastic answer.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure?
See this thumb? See how it's dark right there? My guilty pleasure is I buy scratch-off tickets like they're but I win.
That's awesome.
But I love them. That's my guilty pleasure. My kids will tell you I'm a scratch-up. I go to about 10 gas stations, maybe 8 gas stations a day.
I
had a dream that I hit that one that's a $20 million ticket. So I try to live that to fruition.
Worst advice you've ever got?
Stay with her. Worst advice I ever got. And this is true. Quick story. The worst advice I ever got. There was an old guy that was miserable that worked at the sheriff's department. And we were talking one night, and I said, I think I'm going to get a divorce. He goes, stay with her. It's cheaper. And I did that for about 2 weeks. And then I said, fuck
There's
this.
No way.
I'll take 3 jobs. Yeah. That was worst advice ever given.
Something you wish you were better at.
That's a long, distinguished list. Like, I'm not a handyman. If something's fucked up at the house, I text my guy. I ain't doing it. And I don't want to do it. Okay.
True.
Oh, I want to learn how to do plumbing. Well, good for you, not me. I want to just keep being whatever I'm being. I wish I was handier.
No, I mean, you'd said something too. You said, if you need to, you could text Warren Buffett. And a lot of things are attributed to Warren Buffett, and I would attribute this to him also, just because that's how it was presented to me. But supposedly in a lecture, something Warren Buffett had said, take the top 25 things that you want to do or get better at or succeed at, and then take number 6 through 20 or 25, whatever the list was, and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the time or the resources and all of a sudden then you're just divided up, and all of a sudden it's not even a jack of all trades. You're just fucking up at a lot of things as opposed to doing a few things halfway decent.
Yeah. I think if you're good at something, focus on that. And here's what's funny. You'll meet people in life and you think, tell me if this has ever happened to you. I meet someone and I think, this guy might have it. And what I mean by that is, might have it is he's driven, he's personable, and he's good at his craft. Okay, 3 things. Sometimes I can believe more in someone else than they believe in themselves.
100%.
That happens so many times. You can believe more. Somebody can have more belief in you than you do yourself. And I see that a lot, especially in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, before the cameras were rolling, what did you say the one thing is the world was lacking?
What was it?
People having individual beliefs in themselves.
Yeah. Believe in yourself. Somebody said, hey, what college did you go to? None. They're like, what? I said, yeah. Well, how'd you run that company? I learned it. I figured it out. And each generation, when they say the next generation's gone, it's not. It's just some of the ones that you get to see are probably gone.
Right.
Each generation brings something to life that's a new skill set, right? And when you look at 1985, no cell phones, only barely pagers, right? Till now, I mean, I'm out there doing stuff all over the world on a phone, ordering more stuff out of different countries for different things that I do, and it's amazing to me because I remember in the old days, like when the fax came out, hey, was cutting edge. And when the
We're
facts
getting
came
shit
out,
done today.
oh man, now you can. You can run a company. You can run 10 companies, unlimited amount of companies, anywhere from your living room in your underwear.
Yep.
That's how it works, and that's a beautiful thing to see come to fruition in your lifetime.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, like, you hear like, oh, the next generation, they're going to be worse off than their folks, or the next generation is terrible. I mean, I think the big part of that is the reason that people believe that is because it's just stupid people are the loudest ones.
Yeah.
The ones that are succeeding, odds are they're probably doing it pretty quietly.
Yeah. You know what I think is funny? People will say, oh, this next generation is doomed. Look at some of the idiots that came out of your generation, partner.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be something, and there's the one behind you always sucks. That's
Right.
just how, we learned that from the older people above us. Oh, there's a bunch of idiots. They're probably not. You just get to see the cream of the crop sometimes.
Right, exactly.
With YouTube and social media, you see, probably the worst of the example.
Best compliment you've ever received?
Warren Buffett gave it to me. In front of a bunch of hedge fund guys when they opened Nebraska Furniture Mart, which is the world's largest. You understand that, right? The world's largest store, basically, right? He tapped me on the back. We were finishing up, and he said, "You're the richest guy I know." And at that time, he was number 2 on the globe as far as wealth.
Mm-hmm.
When someone says you're the richest guy, he's not talking about money.
Nope.
I'm never in a bad. My wife will tell you I'm never in a bad mood. I do not. I now do some things maybe kind of bring it up in here a little bit about maintaining, right? It's about never letting someone see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the best compliment I was ever given is, "You're the wealthiest man I know." And I turned around and said, "Thank you very much." He said, "Thank you."
That's awesome.
And that's cool to have that friendship with anybody. Anybody could have said that. It just happened to be him.
What's one thing you wished I had asked that I hadn't?
About my dog. What a dick.
Anyone who knows you knows you don't have to ask about Juicy.
No, I'm kidding. No, I think that you covered that very well. One thing I'm glad I was really hoping that you weren't going to lay me on this. What is that called?
A table.
Okay. I didn't want you to lay me on that table, and when you put that leg up this way and turn it this way, and then you have to hover over me.
There's no hovering. There's no hovering.
Well, I know this guy was real close to
friends.
me. Yeah. Well, this guy told me, he said, and I knew him. He said, "I love you."
Right?
And then he went over with it. And I said, "Holy shit."
Nope.
And then, they do the neck thing. And so I'm glad we're not doing any of that.
Right.
I told my wife, I said, "I hope there's no yoga and I hope there's no chiropractic
There's no
involved."
yoga. There's no chiropractic. You're absolutely right, though. If I'm going to pull one thing out of this, I'm going to say it's a relationship thing. And that's why this is. Because, again, we've met one time.
Yep. And
it was 4 years ago. In all reality, we probably only spoke for maybe 5 minutes of just general pleasantries.
But what did we do together? We served other people that needed it.
Yeah, we help people.
Yeah.
Because it really is. I mean, and hell, those are relationships too.
Yeah.
They really are. And the fact that, like, it truly is about who you know. It really is. And
you know what? So my wife said this one time, and for a while, I had to scratch my head about it. She said, "It's good to know a lot of people."
Mm-hmm.
And then she's German. She said, "But it's better when a lot of people know you." She had said that after my phone. I mean, my phone stays pretty busy. I put it on silent because it can be a little too much sometimes.
Fair.
And I think about that a lot. That's probably one of the best sayings I've ever, because if a lot of people know who you are, well, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you know a lot of people, that's great too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's part of that's again, one of the reasons that this podcast exists.
Yeah.
Is that as a chiropractor on the other side of the camera, I can help a lot of people one at a time.
Yeah.
This is going to go out, and whether 80 people see it, whether 800 people see it, the whole point of this thing is to help people, to give people another viewpoint, another direction of success and of empowerment.
Yep.
But not on a one by one basis. Because I mean, I'm going to help people with chiropractic. I know I do help people with chiropractic, but I can only do it one at a time. This is going to help a whole lot more people.
And you know what's great? Sometimes it's the one guy or gal maybe having a little bit of a challenge in life, whether it's business, relationship, whatever, and they click it because it's available 24 hours a day, right?
Yep.
They click it, and maybe something you said resonates with them. And sometimes, people will say, God told me this. God told me that he wants you to. I say, hold on, partner. If God wants me to do it, he'll tell me. That's how it works. Because you'll see a lot of people.
Yeah. We'll tell them
told me to tell
God
you.
told me to tell you.
If he wants to tell me, he'll tell me. But I do think that a lot of times people might need to hear, you know what, be your own cheerleader. So I knew someone that graduated college and they didn't walk because they were taking care of their mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now they're the next degree, they didn't walk because they're taking care of. You've got to celebrate your own. Even if you're a person that you have no family, fucking celebrate yourself.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back. You have to enjoy your own success so you can be even more successful. But you've got to, I tell people this all the time, take pictures in life. I love Facebook because I can look back at really memorable things. And, now I've got 3 gigs in the cloud that, I've got 50,000 pictures and 40,000 videos. And I can go back and look at it. That's one thing I wish existed back in the old days.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great, but it is what it is.
True. I mean, one of the best pictures I have, I'm not even in it. It's a picture of a Ryder moving van with a Chevy Impala on a car dolly behind it. And it was taken the day that I pulled into Texas. Because I, again, came down from Minnesota. I graduated, and then the next day, I hopped on 35 and came south. And I got down here, and I pulled up to a buddy's house. He's going to let me stay with him. Wife and I were newly married, and out in front of his house, Ryder moving van, black Impala. Just took my phone. I don't know why. Click.
Yeah. I tell people document. So take a picture, video of everything that you find interesting. Not everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I've taken a picture and I just posted it a couple years ago. He's passed away now, but a couple years ago, I had a relative that was an invalid, and he liked anything I posted because he ain't got nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting in a bed. He ain't moving nowhere.
Yep.
And so I made sure I was actively posting, something cool, something fun, something that I was doing.
Yep.
And it gives that person, allows them the opportunity to live through you. And that's real important. A lot of times people in life live through you. I don't want to say the person's name, but if you've seen my Facebook lately, I'm very good friends with someone that lives relatively close to here, that's involved in that letter that I gave you something from.
Yep.
What's crazy is when a person has that kind of a notoriety behind them, but they've taken a liking to you and they say, man, I needed to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm put in his life for a reason. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
Oh, and like you said too, like you don't always know who's watching. It actually made me think of something. Remember Mr. Rogers?
Oh yeah.
You remember how he always said that he was feeding the fish?
Yes.
You know why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was feeding the fish.
Yeah. But do you know why he said it?
No.
When the show started, he had made mention that he had fish. And he got a letter from a blind child that says, hey, I heard that you have fish.
I have heard that story. Yeah.
Do you feed them? And after reading that letter, every episode of Mr. Rogers, he says, here's some food for the fish. I'm feeding the fish. So the blind child knew.
Yeah.
So the blind child was basically, I don't want to say pacified, but we'll go with pacified. That
Sure.
the fish were taken care of.
Yeah.
Again, people are watching. I mean, hell, again, this is going to be a perfect example.
Yeah.
This will get hundreds of views. You'll get 4 likes.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to like what you do, but everyone's watching.
Yeah.
It was just a shot in the dark. Like I told you before, I don't know why your name popped into my head, but you know what? He's going to have some cool stories. I'll reach out to Eric that I haven't seen in 4 years.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be on my podcast? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shit. He said yes. All right, cool. So, man, I really appreciate the time.
I enjoyed it.
I really do.
I really enjoyed it.
And everyone out there, as always, like, share, subscribe, appreciate it. And again, just further proof, every time we have a guest on here, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Right here on Fueled by Spite. Thanks for watching, everyone. Eric, appreciate your time.
Thank you.